Now let's see if this will work. Okay. Now let's see if this will work. Okay, I'm doing this for the second time today. I had so much fun the first time. I decided to do it again. Doing this for the second time in the middle of my Facebook Live. I switched over from my OBS studio I used to Facebook, and the screen was black. So anyway, we're going to try this one more time, okay? I guess I'm full of mistakes. I had a brain fart last week and told you that celebration was ending and that the 31st of July was the last day. Well, guess what? It's not. It goes on to August 31st. The way they have this written, I don't know. I guess I just glanced at it. I don't know what happened. But anyway, you have a whole nother month. Oh, and let me show, I guess I could show you what you need to be seeing. Okay, so you can see how it goes to the 31st of August. Okay, and I'm gonna, let's see. Okay, I moved my face so you don't look at me right now. Okay. Because of this, and we have a whole nother month, I am extending my mystery box giveaway. It will go until the end of August also. Now, in order to participate in this, you place an order of $50 or more. And for every $50 you spend, you're going to get a mystery box from me that's worth at least $100. This is a win-win time of year because I'm giving you the mystery box, and also when you place a $50 order, you get to choose something out of the celebration catalog for free. So anytime you spend $50, those items are in the beginning of the book, and it'll have a little circle with free for when you spend $50. If you spend $100, you can either pick out 2 items that are $50 each, or you could go to the back and pick out something that's $100 and just get that item. If you decide you want to host a party or a workshop, get your friends together and get them stamping with you, you'll get this free perfect pomegranate set. And the last thing is, what a great time to join Stampin' Up! You can become part of my team either as a hobbyist, or if you want to start doing a business, making a business out of this. You get to pick your starter kit items for $99, whatever you want, and then you're going to get this little journaling set that helps you make plans. You don't have to use it for Stampin' Up! You can use it for something else. And get your discounts and either start a business or just join to get the discount. I think truly all of us join to get the discount on our products. And some went other ways, some stayed customers, or hobbyists, and it's whatever you want to do. So back to my mystery box, there is the host code you have to put in, and you'll put it in when you check out. It says that you're shopping with me, add your host code, and click apply, and that way I get the benefits, you get the mystery box. Okay? If you have any questions on this, you can contact me. Go to stampin'atthebirdnest.com, and everything is there. Okay, let me show you the card I made and talk to you about the set. I made one of these cards and did not put, here it is. This is what I made for my stamp camp the other night. And I felt like it was a little bit plain. There was something missing. So for y'all, I'm going to do it this way. I have added an embossing folder and embossed the background, and then I added some ribbon to it. The set that I'm using today is called Season of Chic. Now, when I first saw this in the catalog, I just I thought, oh, that's pretty, but I've got shells. I don't need anything else. Well, then I started seeing things online that people had done using the designer series paper. It's called Texture Chic, and there's a little bit of gold throughout. But when I saw a card with the polka dots and the blushing bride, and I had to order it. And I am enjoying it and loving it. But look at the gorgeous colors. So the colors that I'm using on the paper, oh, I didn't show you the dyes. So here are the dyes, and they're actually, this shell, these two go together, and I'll show you how that does. There's a small shell and then one that's shaped elongated. And then there's this piece that kind of looks like fishing net, and I loved that. That was another reason I had to have it. You can find all that on page, I'll get my specs on, page 99, and it'll show you the paper. It even comes with some gold paper that I got, but it comes with it, but I haven't done that yet. So you get the bundle of the dyes and that, and if you decide to do the entire suite, you get the paper, and it's called distressed gold specialty paper, along with the designer series paper. So you can see some really cool cards here. Now, the other thing that, when I really started looking at this set, it's not just about shells. Look, you've got flowers, that could be for springtime, a snowflake for winter, your leaves for fall, and it's got great sayings: thanks, love you, best birthday, thinking of you. So let's take a look, first of all, at the colors I'm using today. This is our soft succulent. It's one of our designer series, it's one of our in colors from last year, so we've got this whole year to use it. And the evening evergreen is the dark one, and it's found in both of those papers, the designer paper, and they're both in colors that we can have for another year, and then boo-hoo, they'll be gone, and I just love them. You need a piece of gold foil that is, I think this is 3x4, and then you're going to need a piece of whatever design of the paper that you want to use, and this is cut at 2 by 5¼ inches. Now, the very first thing that you're going to do, and I'm using my evergreen ink, and I'm going to put my sentiment down here in the corner. And the reason I did that first was because I'm going to emboss the front panel of our card. So you always want to put your do your stamping first, because it's not going to lay flat if you try to do it after it's embossed. Now, the way that I'm doing the embossing, I'm using one of our folders called Painted Texture. This kind of looks like old world walls. I've done a technique like this in bathrooms where you take spackle and just kind of slap it on and then go back with your sponge and sponge the paint on. and it gives that distressed look. So I thought that this would be a perfect one for this card. When you go to do these 3D, these thick cards, you need to look, unless your memory's better than mine, look at plate 1. It gives you the directions. So down here it says using with 3D embossing folders. You're going to use plate 1, which is this thick, heavy one. Then you're going to put your paper with the embossing folder, and then you're going to use this gray hard plastic number 4 sheet. I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and I'm going to get it right up by that creased line that was done at 5.5 inches, because you want the whole thing to be done. So I'm going to layer up my card, and I'm putting the this through the cut and emboss machine, the big one, not the mini one. We do have embossing folders that will fit the mini, but this is not one of them. Okay, so you see how I got right down to the edge, and now when I fold that and give it a little crease with the edge of my bone folder, that came out just perfect. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to use, let's cut out everything. And I am using a little piece of tape just so they don't slip. So there, the gold is going to be for that looks like, I don't know, seaweed or net or whatever. And then I'm going to use my scrap of the DSP for the top of the shell, and the dark evening evergreen for the base of the shell. So this is what I'm talking about. The dark will be on the bottom, and then the little fancy piece will be on top. And when you go to set up your sandwich, you're going to be just doing thin dies. So you're going to use plate 1, plate 2, plate 3. And remember, if yours are bowing like that, be sure to flip them back and forth. I'm going to put all of this on here. And I need my top number 3 plate. And if you ever have trouble getting it to go through, stagger your plates just a little bit, and that makes all the difference in the world. Now when you go to use a die that is intricate like this piece of netting or seaweed is, you're going to need to go back and forth 2 or 3 times just to make sure that all of it is getting cut. And you can see that all of it did get cut, but the pieces didn't come out. So let me show you what I used when I'm cleaning up my cutouts. Okay, sometimes you're lucky and it just comes right out. Other times it needs just a little help. So what I use is the die brush, and it comes with this foam, and I put it in one of our little skinny boxes, and it keeps all the debris in there. Now this was the old style. Now we have the brushes that screw off of the putty end of the take your pick, and you screw the little head of the brush in there, and that's what they look like now. And I believe they're $9, and the take your pick tool is $11, and this is worth every penny. I'm just going to go over this and see how much I can get out. It may not get every little piece out. You may have to go in with a little pointy tool if you need to, but that did pretty good. That did better than any of the other ones I've done. And see all your debris right there, and then you can get it to the garbage can. Okay, now we're getting close to putting all of our parts of the puzzle together. There's our shell. And if you don't have a little magnetic sheet around, you need to stick them back on your little die sheet that I got from Stamp and Storage. But if I'm using them over and over, I put one of those sheets on just a little stand-up frame holder, and there I have them, and they don't get lost. So that's just a little tip there to keep track of things. Now, before I put all this together, I wanted to show you what I did to the paper. I said in the directions, or in the little thing that I put on Facebook, that I wanted to give this a vintage look. And the way I did that, I kind of wanted to make the paper look old and distressed. And I took our paper snips. These are great precision little scissors that we sell. I opened them up and I held my paper taut and just, let me turn that around, ran it along so that you can start to see how it is getting a little bit frayed. And you know what, a couple of times I slipped and actually cut into the paper, and it doesn't matter because you want it to look old, and that doesn't hurt a thing. So you're going to do this all the way around. You could even tear off a piece if you wanted to. It's really up to you. So see how I did that? That's okay. Okay. Now, after I do use my scissors or fingernails, if you have them, you can just take your paper and just kind of ruffle it a bit more. And I'm just going to leave that piece like that. And see, doesn't that give it a totally different look from what it started out looking like? I'll use my seal on it and put it, come on, oops, there we go. We'll put it on the side. Okay, so that's down good. We can do, okay. Now we need to put our shell together, and I am using our multi-purpose glue. Let's see if there's any in here. Yep. And you don't have to do all of it, just I like to kind of put some on the larger spots if you have any. And then you can put it on here. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Now we need to put our net down. Again, I'm using the liquid glue, and I'm not doing it everywhere, and there are really no big pieces to be able to put it on, so just kind of randomly put some. Oops, and that will hold it. Okay. Now, before I put the ribbon on, I wanted to show you what I did to the ribbon. I wanted it, that looks brand new, which it is. So I wanted to give it a little bit of distress look there too. And I'm taking the pointy end of my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm using my rubber foam pad, and see how I'm just going through and pulling on the threads just to kind of give it a worn look. You can kind of get on the edges and pull that out a little, and just do this all the way down your ribbon. And especially on the ends, if you'll fray those, that'll show up because that's going to be sticking out. So I'm just going to pull on it a little bit. And now, the best way to stick this down is to use your glue dots. Normally I try doing paper to the glue dot so that it comes off right there. It's a little bit hard with this, so what I'm going to do is take my pointy end of my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm just going to make 3 little dots to hold the ribbon. Oops. Let's see if we can find, there's the first one, so I'm going to put the second one right there. Then I'm going to do one more. Well, with the replay, you missed Ziggy doing zoomies around the house. If you don't know what zoomies are, that's when your puppy goes crazy and goes around and around and around the house. And then they stop and go to sleep. Okay, I'm going to find those dots again, and I'm going to use that to hold the ribbon, and I'm going to come back this way and hit that second dot, and here's the last one. Okay? So you just kind of want to be able to see those little ends. And if you feel like you need a little more glue on your, it's staying down now. A minute ago it was coming up, but you can just put your dot and add some. On the shell, I'm going to put a dimensional. In fact, I'm going to use 2. And put it kind of wonky-sided in the middle. So, there you have your vintage card with some little tricks and tips to show you how to distress your paper and your ribbon and give it a little bit of an old world look. Okay. And I've enjoyed being with you for maybe the second time, maybe not. Something got flipped or didn't get flipped on the Facebook page, so I'm redoing. And I hope you're having a wonderful week. The weekend is on its way. It's rainy here, which is keeping our temperature down, and we're loving that. So enjoy your weekend. Stay well. See you next week. Love you.